Her cherry red lips were so gorgeous, like she'd stepped right out of a fairy tale, and her skin was as soft as winter's snow. Her long, flowing hair shone like shimmering silver strings. Seriously, anyone would be green with envy at that luscious mane. This snow-white angel's name is Yvette Winchester, and after years of keeping a low profile, the Winchester dukedom is once again riding the crest of the wave thanks to their eldest daughter's coming-of-age ceremony. Honestly, her beauty alone is enough to cause a flood. At her party, countless men were powerless against her ethereal charm, and the eligible bachelors were too tongue-tied to even utter a word. Rumor has it that even married men faced an unprecedented test of their loyalty. One nobleman nearby was practically clutching his heart, terrified it would run away to her. Who knew even the ladies were trying to sneak peeks? And their wives were just the same. So, in just one night, this woman who held power, wealth, and beauty in her hands became the darling of the capital. Some scandalous rumors even suggested her future husband would rule the empire. But there are two sides to every coin, and when this rumor reached the royal family, it was like a night blooming Sirius, beautiful but fleeting, disappearing from everyone's sight. Time flew by, and 3 months had passed since the party. Now, a maid was running around the magnificent palace like a dog being chased. She barely raised her hand to knock before a voice invited her in. "Come in." The maid bowed deeply, respectfully handing a thick stack of letters to the Duke. "Your Grace, these are the letters that arrived for you today." Without even opening them, the Duke already knew what they were. Letters asking about Yvette's well-being these days. Duke Heloise worried about her daughter, clutching her head in distress. "It's been like this ever since her coming-of-age ceremony. I've had enough. It's a curse to have such a beautiful daughter. Even Her Majesty the Queen has heard about it." This time, she sent someone to deliver a message. "If the royal family is asking, then I'm curious too. What did the Queen say?" she asked the messenger. The scene cuts to a sharp look from the esteemed Queen. "Does she still remember our feelings from back then?" "That's a tough question," the Duke murmured, accidentally snapping her expensive pen in half. She ordered the maid, "Bring me new stationery." The maid didn't pry, she simply bowed and left. "Yes." After saying that, she rubbed her forehead in thought. "I want to write a letter to someone." Today wasn't Sunday, just an ordinary day like any other, but the number of guests was overwhelming. There were a lot of people visiting today. The Duke looked at the crowd in helplessness. The gossiping artists spread rumors about her. They say the young Duchess suffers abuse from her parents and can only survive by drinking dew. The envious gossips who were jealous of her looks claimed, they say the young Duchess has a terminal illness. If she's exposed to even a little sunlight, her skin will rot. And the spiritually inclined detectives spread the rumor that she's under a curse and will vanish forever if she leaves the country. Rumors are just rumors, but they're evolving into more stories, mainly revolving around this innocent princess. Getting back to the main point, the beautiful princess in everyone's hearts is currently fast asleep in her room. The national mother has returned to the palace, and instead of greeting her with a bow, she's still lying in bed, so the Duke sent for the ultimate weapon. 2 golden pans clanging together gently delivered a sound from the netherworld to her ears. Right here, everyone will finally understand why she hasn't left the house even for a single step. Is it mealtime already? Hearing that just screams laziness, not some divine intervention, haha. Ever since she was little, she's been showered with affection by the Winchester family. Yvette hasn't known hardship her whole life. She gets to eat only the best stuff, and on top of that, everyone spoils her rotten. Everyone treats her like she's made of glass, like she's a precious flower. She gets chauffeured around, and if she can't finish her food, someone else eats it for her. No wonder she's grown up with this couldn't care less attitude. She gets served hand and foot in everything she does. Seriously, she hasn't known a day of struggle since she was a kid. Calling her a good-for-nothing heiress wouldn't be wrong. Someone even feeds her, and she only needs to raise her arms to have someone dress her. The Duke decided to test her with a sob story, and that's why Dad and I took bro and ran. But can you blame me for that? Sniffle sniffle, gotta make the tears believable, ya know? She glanced over at my expression. If you wanna blame someone, blame Mom. Her acting's so good, I could probably sleep for 8 more hours. Must stay awake. My darling is getting blasted again and again to wake her up. Even if she's dead asleep, she has to open her eyes and see the light of day. Mom poked her finger on her forehead, reminding her of the situation. The rumors are spreading like wildfire outside. Now, they're even organizing a squad of bodyguards to rescue the princess and drag her out of her imprisoned tower. Being the doting mother she is, she can't bring herself to blame this little one. The family's burdens have been weighing down on this woman's shoulders alone. Her husband ditched them, leaving her to shoulder the whole family. That's why she has to keep such a tight rein on Yvette. If it weren't for her, she probably couldn't do it. Then she reached out and caressed her cheek, asking aimlessly, what if something happens to me one day? How will you live? Hearing her mom say that, Yvette burst into tears. Seeing her daughter cry like that, she felt relieved because her child still listened to her. One second they were all mommy, darling, and the next, she had over 10 maids helping her pack her luggage. Yvette didn't even have time to process what was happening. Mom told the maids to pack plenty of clothes, money, and even made sure to keep her precious daughter warm. Mom was getting a little too enthusiastic, so Yvette had to stop her. Wait a sec. Not knowing what her precious darling wanted, she had to stop everything to listen to her. Where are you taking me, Mom? Just asking, but she can still pull off that angelic face too. Mom just remembered she hadn't told her plans yet. A letter slowly opened in her hand. The writing is even prettier than a scholar's printed on the paper. So, she's found someone she can entrust Yvette to. She hasn't even met him yet, but she seems super excited already. The lion insignia looks so badass, right? But it's the symbol for a legion the royal family doesn't even acknowledge because it's made up of war orphans and outcasts. Just mention their name and the royals, commoners, everyone gets a little nervous. Especially their leader, Victor Poit. Rumor has it, he's undefeated. Some even say he made a deal with the devil for that power. The Winchester's butler is freaking out that the Duke would let the young miss go to a place like that, but she's already thought everything through. Rumors are just rumors, after all. Hearing that their family's precious treasure is being sent away so easily, he can't bear it. I've been at the Winchester house for so long, never disobeyed the master. But if she's being so stubborn. And then, he grabs her hand. He drops to one knee. His pathetic face is on full display. I'll cry for you to see. She's so done with him. The letter was sent 3 days ago. They'll probably be at the Duke's mansion this afternoon. Anything you say now is useless. Seizing the moment, he blurts out, then reduce the number of guards in the young Mrs. room. She doesn't answer right away, but asks, wait for me here, right? Just do it like that. To hell with any demons or ghosts at this point. Thank you, Duke, for your wise decision. He rushes off to greet the head maid. Then he runs back to his room to dance and sing with his colleagues, because the behavior of the servants can affect Yvette. They join hands, forming a circle and singing joyfully. The Duke agreed. But really, she's pretty annoyed herself. Now, King Pri is seriously ill. The first prince has the legal right to inherit, while the second prince is being propped up by the queen. They need to expand their influence. Unfortunately, Yvette's coming-of-age ceremony got caught up in this mess. Now they're all watching to see which side the Winchester clan takes. As the young miss, she's definitely going to become a political sacrifice. She has complete faith in the butler's persuasive skills. David's second only to you. Letting him soothe the servants is the right choice. Suddenly thinking about her fate, she sighs to herself, it's my fault for being useless. If it weren't for the Queen's help, I wouldn't be a duchess. The head maid comforts her. Now we can only wait for the young miss to leave here and then find her a better political marriage. That's the only way to ensure her safety. Speak of the devil, someone's coming. Outside the mansion, a line of people are about to set foot in the Duke's residence. I've known Victor for a long time. I completely trust his character, and if she could take refuge with him then. She's talking smoothly, then suddenly she stops. Wait a minute. Heloise turns to the maid, a worried expression on her face. Those rumors, will David tell the young miss about them? There's no point in crying or being sad now. Yvette is hiding under the covers, totally terrified. She remembers the stories that the butler uses to scare the kids. He's 8 feet tall, his thighs are as big as buckets. He can crush 2 babies with one hand. An arm reaches out from the door, beckoning her closer, come a little closer. She's so scared that she just pulls the covers around her for safety. The maids outside are running around frantically, reminding her, the Great Lion Legion has arrived. If the young miss wants to escape now, this is your only chance. Then the maid shoves a rope and a book into her hand. This is from the bottom of our hearts. Whatever the young miss decides, we'll support you. Definitely don't give up. I wonder what they mean by giving her such a long rope. So it's suicide, like, super obvious. But she suddenly thought, maybe that's not it. Giving it to her definitely has another purpose. No more playing with the rope, she switched to reading a book to calm her mind. What book? 100 Questions for Runaway Noble Ladies, starting with Are you suffering from stubborn parents and want to escape this situation but don't know how? The intro is so humanistic, she's really into it. All the experiences of 100 runaway ladies are packed into this book, complete with plans, routes, and knowledge for escaping. The book advises her that escaping through the main gate is too dangerous, so try the balcony. Use a rope to connect with the world. Ah, so that's what the rope she received is for. Of course, escaping family constraints is just the first step. Next are survival skills. What kind of skills? The book doesn't say yet. It teaches her to identify poisonous herbs, treat minor wounds, catch wild animals, and communicate with different races. Sounds like hunting skills. Suddenly, from basic knowledge, the book jumps to macro knowledge, like building a small town and taming ancient mythical beasts. Then it leaps to outer space knowledge, training armies, the age of sailing, domination, and territorial management. That's enough reading for now. If she reads any more, she'll probably become a PhD without realizing it. She went outside, looked at the blue sky, and took a deep breath of fresh air. Too many words, doesn't want to read. A long rope was lowered from the balcony. Theory's done, now it's time for practice. Some guy with brown hair is waiting down below. Good morals? Hearing about the future? That can wait. Appearing before him is the angelic figure rappelling down, looking like a falling star. The princess has opened up her adventure. But instead of falling, she's left hanging high up. The adventure ends in an awkward EHHH. Unluckily, that was the moment the rope snapped. She, of course, fell neatly into the arms of that handsome young man. She looked at him with an innocent, naive expression. He looked at her with a serious face, as if wondering who the heck is this? The image of a princess and prince in a fairy tale collapsed in an instant. At this moment, the young lady had a brilliant idea. Are you the new guard? This clueless question left him speechless. She grabbed his sleeve pleadingly. Could you please take me to the gate? I want to run away. 10 points for her honesty. But her laziness kicked in. It's just too tiring to walk out on her own 2 feet. First day meeting her, it's kinda like that. He just froze solid facing her cluelessness. The scenery in town was as peaceful as ever. The townsfolk looked at the approaching group from afar in a panic. Oh no, it's the Great Lion Troop. Everyone dropped everything and ran for their lives, not even knowing if they'd done anything wrong. They ran so fast they didn't even have time to pack up their stalls, leaving an apple rolling on the ground. A certain man picked up the apple. Deputy Leader Arthur Orange grinned. Looks like our reputation precedes us. A reputation like that is worth celebrating. Francis Russell started yelling, cursing the useless bunch. Would you lazy bums use that strength to find some food? Don't want to go to the Duke's mansion on an empty stomach and make fools of ourselves. Hart Benson, annoyed by her harsh words, snapped back, can't you speak nicely? Seems like my words aren't doing any good seeing as the clowns in the back are still fighting. Annoyed that he couldn't get through to them, he decided to find somewhere else to chill. It's because she yells and scolds like that they always misunderstand me. He knocked on a door very politely, but the kid who opened the door looked terrified. Hart said, little friend, don't be scared. Is your mom home? The kid was bawling his eyes out, begging, please don't eat my mom. Hart burst into tears, realizing how scary he looked. Luckily, Leeds came to comfort his broken soul. Don't be sad. I think your face looks awesome. Fried Gustav had to step in to stop it. This is more like a circus than a military troop. I'm sensing an aesthetic that transcends life and death. Here, your comforting is good and all, but please don't do it again. Enough with the comedy act, we need to get back to the main point. Arthur leaned against a tree and started talking about the troop. If the boss agreed to accept a title from the royal family, our reputation would probably be way better. The past is the past, but the troop leader hates nobles, so don't complain about stuff like this. That's why it's weird. He caught on to another aspect of it. I think the boss's personality is super unpredictable. He usually hates nobles, but he went all the way for some duke's daughter, even left the company on his own and went to the duke's mansion. Don't you guys find that strange? Exactly, everyone who listened to his enlightenment agreed. Hart was more mature than these kids, there's nothing strange about it. The troop leader is getting to the age to get married. At the mention of marriage, everyone turned to look at him. He hadn't even put the apple in his mouth yet, and these kids were already making him choke, huh? Did I say something wrong? Why is the scene suddenly shifting to Victor and Yvette being all lovey-dovey? And with that, half the troupe stared at the scene with frighteningly gleeful expressions. The other half of the troupe also stared in confusion. Victor couldn't even hold the young miss in peace with these drama-loving soldiers. From afar, the Winchester family's butler came looking for their young miss. He was out of breath when he arrived and saw the group in front of him. The butler didn't show her any respect and started scolding her straight to her face. What do you think you're doing? Never mind sneaking out, how dare you get all cozy with a man you've just met? Yvette simply replied, tired. With that she couldn't be bothered to say anything else. Even so, I can't just let a strange man carry me. I'm worth more than that. Hearing the butler scolding so harshly, Yvette turned to look at Victor, the strange man. She straight up asked for his name to check out his background, like who exactly is this guy? He was probably tired of carrying her, so he gently put her down, this Great Lion Legion dude, Victor. The chief general introduced him, and the soldiers swarmed over to say hi, granting Duke Winchester's request, bodyguarding the young miss. Not sure if she knows anything about this stuff, but you can tell by her face, it's all gibberish to her, like Great Lion Legion, more like Pink Lemonade Legion, or Cheese Legion, am I right? Then it suddenly clicked, it was that mega huge name the butler mentioned, and her face just drained of color. Duke Winchester heard the plum wine, aka Yvette, was back, so she rushed out to greet her. She gave her a big bear hug, so happy. Thank goodness, I'm so glad you're okay, I thought. These touching words almost made her feel something. Then, bam, the Duchess did a U-turn so fast she didn't see it coming. You really think you're old enough to run away from home? After dealing with her darling daughter, she turned to greet the guests with a warm smile. Sorry you all had to see that embarrassing scene. Victor heard the greetings but didn't know what to say. Oh, good thing Francis gave him a hint. Nope, that's not how you're supposed to reply at a time like this. Enough with the small talk, she told the servants to get stuff ready while she stayed to discuss important matters. Maple, take the young miss to change. I need to have a word with the Great Legion commander. Scene changed to tea and conversation time. I heard you went to the Imperial City and got a welcome from the First Prince. She added, he hopes the Great Lion Legion will be directly under the Imperial family's command. But this commander dude didn't seem too thrilled about it. Then congrats to you. Becoming an official army not only gives you honor, but you'll get a super generous military allowance every year. It's a huge help for the Legion. She said it all cheerful, but her smile looked kinda fake, TBH. He didn't want to accept demands that would tie him down. The Great Lion Legion members have their own sense of justice. We definitely won't become the Imperial family's hounds. Ideals aside, let's talk funds. As for the military allowance, luckily, someone gave us a territory, so we can temporarily support ourselves. Since people have helped us this much, I'm grateful, we will certainly repay the kindness. The Duke put down her teacup. She was happy that he still had his principles. I knew I hadn't misjudged you. She asked for his opinion on the First Prince. What's your impression of the First Prince? He gave it to her straight. The First Prince is straightforward, talented and outstanding. He has quite a few military strategies. What he said wasn't wrong, because she had to admit it too. So that's how outsiders see him, huh? The atmosphere suddenly got serious when the conversation got to the main point. Victor, if what I say next gets out, it will bring disaster to the Great Lion Legion and the Winchester family. I hope you keep it a secret. Please, speak freely. Since he opened up, she didn't hesitate. Within 2 years, the Queen will join forces with the Winchester clan to launch a coup and support the second prince to take the throne. He was getting chills just hearing it. This is treason. His eyes became wary when he heard this. What else can I do? I know. A moment of silence. She entrusted her precious daughter to him to stay away from danger. I want you to fully protect Yvette. The beautiful woman's eyes looked into the distance, as if she was pondering something. So, Arthur and Francis are getting a free tour of the Duke's mansion. Before the young miss is ready, they're told to chill here for a bit. Just look at this place, you can tell how freaking luxurious it is. Wow. Hearts just standing there, arms crossed, taking it all in, like, damn, impressive. But young Arthur? He's all over the place, checking everything out. Is all this stuff the young misses? Even a Japanese sword? The maid sees how excited they are and offers them a touchy-feely session, like go ahead, touch it, wanna take it down and check it out? These two are all over it like white on rice. Yes. Arthur's going on and on about how amazing the young miss is. No wonder she's the Duke's daughter. She must travel all over the world to collect all this stuff. The maid, who's taking the sword down, suddenly freezes. She stares at the sword with this unhappy look and drops the truth bomb. The young miss hasn't left the house since she turned 5. He gets what she means by that. I got it. A noble miss doesn't want to leave the royal capital. She never left the house. She really had to hit that point home. That's when it dawns on him. Wait a minute. Something's not adding up. So the maid spills the tea to help him understand the situation. When the young miss was 5, she joined some religious cult and went missing. The Duke's family totally freaked out when they heard the bad news. Later, we found out that the guard had teamed up with some bandits and kidnapped the young miss for ransom. This whole thing really messed with her head when she was just a little kid. The maid's getting all intense now, like a killer. Too bad. The guard got shot dead on the spot, otherwise. Seriously, her face makes you think she did it. The maid draws the sword and gives it a wicked swing. Everyone there, seeing her swing that sword like a maniac, just clams up. Probably because of the trauma, even though she was safe afterward, the young miss hasn't dared to step out of the house since. Arthur's pointing at the sword, all shaky. This is. The maid shoves it in his face and says bluntly, it's a bribe. She's thinking about the young miss when she was a kid, playing happily with her. I've watched young Miss Yvette grow up. I've imagined countless times what she'd be like if she could break free from what's trapped her, but I never thought there might come a time when I can't be by her side. She looks at them with this pleading, desperate look. Please, take care of her for me. That's straight from the heart, people. With the serious talk over, the maid goes to the young miss's room to call her. Are you done changing? But the room's empty. Young Miss Yvette? Suddenly, the stack of books behind her starts moving. The maid is freaking out, and then this white-haired head pops out. Seeing the young miss pulling this kind of crap, the maid has to drag her out of the pile of books ASAP. What are you doing? I was so worried about you, and you give me this heart attack reason. It was really loud just now. Turns out Yvette was trying to pull a bookshelf climbing stunt to grab a book. And, with some kind of magical force, the second the maid knocked on the door she fell right off. Knowing she's the reason for all this, the maid covers her face in regret. I'm sorry. She hands over a book and asks the maid for a favor. Could you give this to Marcia for me? Marcia? Oh, the girl who helped you escape from the house, huh? In the maid's mind, Marcia's already tied up to prevent her from scheming. Looking at this book with the red cover, it seems awfully familiar. She takes a couple of seconds to think about whether she should do it or not. Suddenly, the maid guesses why Marcia has this book. Maybe when she was looking for books in the library, Marcia found this one. Watching the maid talk to herself like this is making Yvette confused. Enough with the self-talk. The maid decides to tell her the truth about where the book came from. This book doesn't belong to Marcia. It's a gift your father left for you. Flashback a bit. The maid picked up that red-covered book and was totally shocked. 100 questions for young ladies from noble families when running away from home. Yvette's dad re-explained the meaning of the book to the maid. Don't mind the title. It's full of geography and creature illustrations inside. It's the most complete and interesting encyclopedia I've ever seen. The maid couldn't wrap her head around why he'd give his precious daughter this book. Of all things to give, he gives an encyclopedia. The young miss doesn't like going out. Giving her a fantasy novel would be more realistic. Being a visionary, he knew, if she likes staying home, I have nothing to say, but what if she changes her mind later? That drop-dead gorgeous smile appeared. Like father, like daughter. The genes are too strong, anyway. Now she's mimicking that gentle smile, anyway. This world is so vast. Yvette hugged the book her dad gave her, gazing at the sky outside. The steward announced the news to Heloise. The Queen's delegation will arrive at the Duke's mansion in half a day. She'd guessed it, so she wasn't surprised. I know. Before that happened, she went to her darling daughter to ask, is everything ready? She also reminded her before they had to part. Conditions there aren't like at the mansion. You have to take good care of yourself. She couldn't bear to leave her mother. I don't have to go, can I? Her words reached the limit of her mother's patience. Just this once, listen to me. Be careful on the road. She tried to turn away to avoid dragging things out. The group followed one another to send a young lady off. It was her first time going out, so she poked her head out to look at the scenery. The Duke and everyone else stayed behind, wistfully watching her leave. The maid, afraid the Duke was sad, comforted her. Please rest assured. The the young miss will definitely arrive safely at the Great Lion Order. She was putting on a brave face, but she still had a vulnerable side. Her hand trembled as she clenched it tightly, as if she couldn't bear it. Since she was born, we've never been apart for such a long time. She cherished her like a precious egg, protected her like a delicate flower. She wanted to ask her close maid for her opinion. Tell me, do you think she'll hate me? A mother's heart, the maid understood too well. It'll be all right. Yvette sat huddled in the carriage, looking sad because she had to leave home and her mother. For young Miss Yvette, light from the outside shone into the carriage. She opened the curtain to see what the outside world looked like. It was the first time she'd seen scenery as beautiful as those from fairy tales. This will definitely be an unforgettable journey. The palace banquet was still buzzing as usual, especially with a hot new topic making the rounds. The hottest thing in the palace right now, the talk of the town was, the Winchester's young miss has left the house. Someone yelled, their voice booming with gossip like a loudspeaker. Of course, juicy news like this couldn't escape the rumor mill. Even a fruit vendor knew about it. Heard she's got a real nasty temper, doesn't respect anyone. Apparently, she's already ticked off the empress. The guard on duty had a different take. I heard from a relative who serves in the palace that the empress came back looking furious, wouldn't even see the second prince. Some noble ladies chimed in with their own scoop. The duke's house is losing face over this. She used to study to become a proper lady, never participated in any social events. So much information, it's heartbreaking. Who would spread such malicious rumors? Young and old, everyone pitied the young miss. No wonder no one's seen her since her coming-of-age ceremony. For some aunties, this might be good news, but it's such a pity for that pretty face. Everyone wondered what would happen to her. What is the Duchess doing right now? Meanwhile, she was sleeping soundly in the carriage, totally oblivious to the gossip. The carriage continued merrily down the long road. Suddenly, the carriage started shaking violently, causing her and her teddy bear to fall. The impact gave her a nasty bump on the head. Thanks to the driver's amazing skills, the carriage then crashed into a tree at a 45-degree angle. This time, she didn't just fall, she rolled a few times too. Wherever the driver steered the horse, she tumbled. You'd think he failed his driving test at least 10 times. In the middle of this chaotic ride, she suddenly knocked lightly on the carriage door, signaling to stop. Her expression was truly awful now, like a zombie coming out of a movie. Stop. Stop the carriage. The members of the Great Lion Troop were mesmerized by the beauty they saw for the first time. Is that the legendary Duchess? Never seen anyone so beautiful, so refined, and her clothes are gorgeous. But, how can riding in a carriage turn someone into this? She felt like stars were spinning around her head. Her escorts rushed to help her out of the carriage, all worried. Only the commander wasn't too thrilled about this. Why the sudden stop? We're still quite a distance from the rest stop, Commander, Victor said with a serious expression. The coachman took off his hat and respectfully replied, well, the young miss said she's not used to riding in a carriage. Hearing her name, she felt a little flustered. But she finally mustered the courage to look up at the young man in front of her. He should have had a handsome face, but in her eyes, he was no different from a man-eating ogre. So scared, she hid behind the coachman. He was so helpless with her that he could only instruct her, next time, report before stopping the carriage. As soon as he finished speaking, the atmosphere suddenly turned heavy. Arthur, who was walking beside him, advised him to change his attitude and be gentler with people. Wondering what's wrong with being a little gentler, careful later she won't like him anymore. He didn't understand what this weirdo was talking about. Then you're also confessing your own feelings, don't tell me you're into that young lady. Originally not a womanizer, he immediately denied it, it's not. Saying it so briefly, no one would believe it. Then he said with time feelings will develop, his answer was, it won't. He explained the matter directly to him. I only accepted the Duke's entrustment to take care of her for 2 years, that's all there is to it. Moreover, before they left, the Duke had instructed them and his cold attitude made him curl his lip in disdain. What a boring man. Turns out Duke Heloise had asked him to be strict with her. My daughter has been arrogant since she was little, don't be polite, train her however you see fit. He initially refused this suggestion. The Great Lion Legion has many fierce and brutal members. The Duke's daughter doesn't need to be compared to them. That's because he didn't know about her. She then opened a grand exposé of her daughter right there. She needs someone to carry her when she walks, someone to feed her when she eats, someone to serve her when she bathes, and she never wears a piece of clothing a second time. Hearing this, he was already feeling annoyed. Moreover, she's very wasteful with food. The above doesn't matter, but this has touched his taboo. Hearing what the Duke said, he got angry on the spot and was determined to correct these bad habits. Arthur felt sorry because the commander looked like he's losing it. Looks like there's no good show to watch anymore. He approached and taught him a lesson in being a gentleman. Even so, you don't need to be fierce with her. Seeing his soldier say that, he froze. Do I? Hearing it, he knew he was clueless, and he must be speechless with this leader who doesn't look in the mirror in the morning. This guy, doesn't he know anything about his face? He took a sip of water and glanced in another direction. Forget it, it's not my business anyway. The direction he looked in was where Yvette was sitting alone. For the Great Lion Legion, the leader's will is the will of the entire team. If the leader shows a cold attitude, others will not actively approach. She looked at everyone eating and drinking happily. Then she looked in the other direction. Everyone avoided her like the plague, for someone who has just joined a new group like her. A blue butterfly fluttered around here. As a result, she caught it barehanded. She opened her palm and looked at the beautiful little butterfly lying in her hand. For an introverted person like her, this period of time will probably be very uncomfortable. Hasn't been uncomfortable yet, but she gave the most beautiful smile that could launch 1,000 ships. Tonight the moon is so bright, full and round, illuminating the forest that is slowly sinking into the desolate darkness. A festival where everyone dances, eats, and gathers around a bonfire in the middle of nowhere. Hart Benson looked at the bowl of food in his hand with utter disgust. This again? I've been eating this all week, can't we get something fresher? His teammate, hearing him, immediately corrected his attitude. Shush, watch it, or Fulida might hear you. Speaking of Lee Fulida, he might look like a scholar, but he's actually the only magician in the whole group. In charge of food supplies, proficient in charms, and ranks third on the list of people you shouldn't piss off. He was trying to cook a pot of food under the scrutinizing gaze of some young lady, unprecedented pressure. So scared of her, he turned around, picked up a spoon and chopsticks, and threatened, "What? You wanna fight?" This guy's so easily intimidated. He was passionately demanding a fight, but suddenly, he switched to assessing her. Exceptional appearance, noble status, just standing near her makes people sweat. This description fits Yvette perfectly. I've been trying to stay away from her. Why is she still coming here? After judging her, he switched to overthinking mode. Could it be? An image of her, but a different version, popped into his head, somewhat impure. In his mind, she's aloof and condescending. Excuse me, your existence is polluting the surrounding air. Please disappear from this world. After thinking all that, he took a rash action, making his teammates worriedly rush over to check the situation. Damn it, not my type at all. Big Sis said to come over here. Lee Fulida, here we go again. If that's how it is, his eyes suddenly blazed with murderous intent. He activated his full skills, demanding a deathmatch with her. Disappear with this world. His desperate, high-risk move terrified everyone. They jumped in to beat him up just to calm him down. Calm down. At that moment, Leeds seized the opportunity to watch the drama. They're fighting? She shook her head, immediately denying it. Actually, her stomach was rumbling loudly, so she just wanted to find something to eat. Just hungry, that's all. A bowl of watery porridge, like pig's will, was placed in front of her. Leeds approached and asked her how she was doing. This is dried meat that the locals brought recently to make porridge. He slurped down the entire bowl in one go, even urging her to try the delicious delicacy. Try it, it's so good. Seeing him eat so happily, she took a bite too, so that's what it is. A spoonful was brought to her lips. The first spoonful she tasted paralyzed her nerves, her whole body shaking like a cha-cha-cha. The spoon fell to the ground unconsciously. Moment by moment, the wooden spoon fell according to the gravitational pull of the earth. Everyone was eating happily when they suddenly heard a crash and fell silent. It felt like an ominous sign. On the other side, Victor and his teammates were discussing serious matters. This is bad, head instructor. Someone rushed in, looking totally panicked, bringing him the bad news. No time for chit-chat, the Duke's daughter has fainted. Hearing that, it hit him like a bolt of lightning. Victor, with his close teammates, went to check out the situation. Move aside, head instructor. The young Duchess was still lying motionless on the bamboo bed, her breathing heavy and ragged. Everyone was like, WTF is going on? She was fine just now. Did she get poisoned or something? He gently sat down and lifted her up. Forgive my rudeness. His hand gently stroked her stomach, asking, does your tummy hurt? Her face turned pale as she shook her head, denying it. Seeing how weak she was, he checked her for other symptoms. She was getting hot and her breath was quickening. His eyes narrowed sharply. Mentally clear, and nothing physically wrong. Could this be a disease that isn't in any book? What the heck happened? If something goes wrong, I'm so dead. And then that girl dropped the bomb, saying something totally random that left everyone speechless. It's so hard to swallow. The words hard to swallow echoed through the mountains and forests. That mage couldn't handle her dissing his cooking like that. He got all worked up and wanted to fight, so Francis had to hold him back. Foolida, calm down a bit. Even Hart had to admit she had a point. To be honest, I also find it hard to swallow. Leeds, on the other hand, didn't get it. What's the big deal? You'd be happy eating tree roots anyway. Francis worriedly approached his leader for advice. Boss, what do we do? Make a special portion for her? No need. Saying that meant he definitely had something planned. He went over to a guard to ask. Laura, who's in charge of the hunt today? The girl quickly flipped through the logbook to find the answer. Let me see. It's Arthur and Zach. Change it. I want her to go hunting tomorrow. The words were decisive and clear, but to them, they sounded like a death sentence. He glanced at her, making a scary face to warn her. If you don't want to eat what other people bring. An image of a plump wild boar running and jumping through the mountains appeared. The sound of the hunter's hooves was getting closer. A girl with white hair bravely held a bow, aiming at the target in front of her. Whatever the arrow aimed at, it was sure to hit. In his imagination, that's what she was like. So, learn to hunt for yourself. Francis wiped the sweat off his forehead, looking like he'd just finished a masterpiece. Pretty good. Isn't this quite fitting? Yvette, dressed in hunting gear, walked out looking like the goddess Athena descended to earth. She curiously looked at the new outfit. Seeing her like that, Francis knew she'd never tried anything so flashy. She's never worn pants before, huh? Gotta love a duke's daughter. The outfit's beautiful, but it's still not quite perfect. This waist is a bit too loose. Let me adjust it for you. As she adjusted, Francis reminisced about the memories attached to this outfit. So nostalgic. Who knew my old clothes would still come in handy? Even though it was when I was 13. This sentence unintentionally struck a nerve with Yvette. Feeling like she was talking to some super achiever, Yvette asked, 13 years old and already hunting? Not everyone can live the pampered life of a duke's family. Of course, I even defeated a bear as tall as a 2-story building. A child's foot stood in a pool of blood mixed with white snow. I don't even know where I got the courage. The black bear appeared vividly in her mind, as if ready to tear the child apart. Little Francis had to pick up a sword and fight it, even knowing it could end badly. That bear was seriously ferocious. The sword was held firmly in hand, pointed straight at the ferocious beast. The result is what matters most. Anyway, I won in the end, and the whole village ate their fill. Now, telling the story, she still felt proud of her first victory, but Yvette was a little scared hearing such a story. She pointed to the scar on the corner of her mouth, claiming it as proof of her courage. This is the scar I got back then. Even if her face isn't perfect, to her, it's super cool. The corner of her mouth unconsciously curved up because of this rare confidence. Yeah, very cool. Afraid the young miss from a rich family was taking her first plunge, she patted her shoulder reassuringly, but don't worry, with the commander here, nothing will happen. After messing around for so long, it's time to hit the road and go hunting. She stood with Francis, looking like a mom sending her daughter off to her new husband's family. Driven by curiosity, she secretly looked up at the face of the commander. Call Victor's looks a chair, because it ain't no table. This ultimate hottie on horseback was blinding everyone else into the shadows. That man wouldn't let a teammate get hurt in front of him. His gentle hand offered to help her onto the saddle. A rather large landslide suddenly appeared on their path. His reaction was to observe the road and see if there was a way to cross, while she just made a blank face, clueless. Next up, slide down from here. This intense military training left her stunned and bewildered for a few seconds. She shook her head immediately, scared of the danger. He saw her reaction and just asked, "Can't do it?" Suddenly, she was lifted right off her feet. Even if you can't, you have to. He just scooped her up and slid down with her to get it over with quickly. This downhill slide felt like riding a motorbike in Kangeo. His legs zipped across the terrain like he was defying a 90-degree slope. He held her securely and strutted along like a hot new idol. Victor glanced scornfully at the weak girl who needed him to carry her down. Can't even handle something this small? Spoiled as always, huh? A duke's daughter can't handle hardship that easily. But he underestimated her spirit. Her sparkling eyes shone like stars as she begged him for another go, fulfilling her thrill-seeking desires. So he had no choice but to indulge her, going for another ride. Sliding down ends eventually, though. When the slope ran out, they just went back up for a longer ride. She was like a 3-year-old trying a slide for the first time. Time passed unnoticed. The slope was completely deserted now. Time for some hydration after an exhausting trip, literally. He chugged his water bottle, while she only drank a sip after 7 slides. Now he understood why her mom entrusted her to him. No wonder Duke Winchester would rather fight alone than bring her along. Who could stand that stamina? He watched her playing with the birds, lost in thought. This little girl was truly raised protected, with no wariness of the outside world. Business is business. If the Duke entrusted her to him, his job was to pave the way for her future, at least by teaching her defense skills for 2 years. It's such a waste not to enjoy this lush green forest. Too bad they're here for a hunt and not a camping trip. Suddenly, a green snake as thick as a wrist appeared behind her. It bared its fangs, ready to take a bite out of her. Things that are too easy don't make for a good story. One slash severed the green snake's head. He had barely finished the job when he changed his mind. Maybe I should be stricter. Being this naive would cause him too much trouble. A herd of deer frolicked and leapt merrily amidst the slopes and hills. Victor spotted his target and dove straight down without hesitation. Sword in hand, he transformed into a god of war, determined to hunt down this clueless golden deer for the crew's next meal. A single, decisive slash cut through the air. The deer couldn't dodge it and collapsed. The prize was in sight, but for Victor, the thrill of the hunt hadn't quite reached its peak. This little reaction wasn't enough. Just as he was thinking about hunting something bigger, a huge, hulking, stinky black bear popped up behind him, ready to pull a sneak attack. No need for Yvette to announce it. His hunting instincts were so ingrained in his bones that he could hit the target without even turning around. Talk about divine intervention. He wanted a bigger prey, and bam, a bigger prey appeared. Yvette sat calmly in the tree, watching the wild hunting scene like it was uncensored full HD. Wink wink. Once the bear went down, he started butchering it right there. She watched him tear apart the bear with his bare hands, totally horrified. He stripped both the deer and the bear clean, leaving nothing but bare skeletons on the ground. You could tell he was a seasoned hunter. A moment of silence fell over the scene. He straight up abandoned her, left her stuck up in a tall tree with no way down. Luckily, he remembered and turned back. Almost forgot. If he actually forgot, she'd be stuck up there playing the weeping woman forever. After pulling her down, he told her to learn from what he just did. Did she see his demonstration clearly? Now it's her turn to do it herself. Seeing that she didn't say a word, he got a little curious. She's a woman of few words, huh? She didn't say anything back then. How could she have possibly opened her mouth when she was so horrified? Yvette picked up the bow, and you could tell she was an amateur. Victor, ever the curious one, was starting to think she had some psychological issues. The next hunt was still in the middle of the dense forest. Watch carefully first. Since it's her first time hunting, he was going to teach her every single detail. She held up the bow and aimed, her dainty hands trembling. It made him think, maybe a bow for women is a bit too much. I should have found her a children's bow. After teaching for so long with no progress, he had to demonstrate it first so she'd understand. Be careful. You'll get hurt if you pull with too much force. Let me show you. Widen your legs and shoulders. The first step is always the most important. He showed her how to hold the bow correctly, pulling the string up to mouth level. The posture he stood in to shoot the bow made her marvel. His hand gently released the string, sending the arrow straight toward its prey. No need to say more, everyone knows the result. The prey was within range and couldn't resist. She and he saw the same scene, but their emotions were different. Victor handed the bow to her. It's time for you to show off. Your turn. She took the bow with a look questioning her very existence and her terrible shooting skills. But still, she had to pick up the bow and shoot. With him supporting her from behind, it should be technically correct. Don't shake, elbow down, deep breaths. Seeing her so clumsy, his face immediately darkened. The bow wasn't fully drawn, she wasn't steady, and her breathing was all over the place. Even though it's supposed to be beginner's luck, her 5 fingers just couldn't help but release the bowstring immediately. Her breathing became rushed from holding the bow and aiming for the first time, but I find her a bit hasty. One arrow already went way off course, followed by a few more arrows planting themselves in the ground. Basically, every shot missed the mark. Yvette, disappointed in herself, slumped over. No matter how many times she tried, she couldn't hit a single target. Her smooth hands, holding the bow, even started to get calluses, making him feel sorry for her and take it back. She gave him a pitiful, guilty look, as if waiting for him to scold her. All she got in return was a simple, "All right." He was calmer than she expected. Seeing no positive results from her, he advised her to stop. Practicing like this wouldn't be effective. Knowing she wasn't incapable, he had to ask what was making her rush. What was she so anxious about? Her eyes lifted to look at him. He also stared straight into those sky-blue eyes, hoping for an answer. Anxious? She didn't even know what she was doing. She turned the bow behind her back to express her feelings. I don't know what anxiety you're talking about. Sure, I was hoping for some success. That answer threw cold water on his overthinking. And then she even complimented him, leaving him speechless, because you're so amazing. Not only did she praise him, the leader, but she also praised the whole team to keep him from getting a big head. You guys are amazing too. Your vision, ability, courage, experience. Each aspect was honed over a decade. In her eyes, they were noble and distant idols. Her life was different, always confined within 4 walls, completely different from me. So, sometimes I can't help but think, despite her aloof appearance, she's got a lot on her mind. The image of her close maid appeared in the stream of emotions. Her mother also appeared constantly in her mind every day. She walked away, but her heart was reluctant to leave them. That feeling gave her a dream. If I could be as strong as you guys, wouldn't I stop being a burden to Mom? Everything she's done up until now has been for her mother on the other side. Yvette held the bow behind her back and confided in him. If I could be as strong as you guys, maybe I wouldn't be such a burden to Mom. Her words completely stunned him into silence. Her determination compelled him to step forward. He took her hand, unable to hide his surprise that someone so aloof could harbor such vulnerabilities. He was expecting some moving speech, but nope. So he can talk normally, huh? His thoughts were totally going off track there. In his imagination, she was some kind of airhead, not this serious type. This is the first time I've heard her talk so much at once. I didn't know how to react, before she would say everything clearly word by word. She moved closer to him with a pitiful expression. The two just stood there hand in hand, speechless. He suddenly felt so bad for her that he sighed. Victor recounted his painful childhood memories to her, a bitterly cold winter, adults driven mad by hunger, even turning on the children. A slash cut through those memories. From the age of 6, he had to pick up a knife and kill his own father to prevent the riot. The emotions of a child pushed to the brink were just chaos. Even now, it's a psychological wound that never heals. I've killed countless villains over the years, but that feeling still resurfaces. The members of the Lionheart Brigade all share similar experiences. Mages have to experiment on their own bodies. Leeds the Beastman was once a plaything for traveling circuses. Francis, at an age when he should have been partying, had to throw himself into battle. Hardship forged our strength. Honestly, none of them wanted to end up like that. They still wanted to live in peace, but if they had a choice, who would want to live a life of wandering? He stroked her head to empathize with the hardship of being born into a prestigious family. Being born and raised in wealth and peace isn't your fault, and you shouldn't feel ashamed because of it. She looked up at him, her eyes filled with hope. Trust me, that day won't be too far off. Suddenly, he flashed a smile as radiant as the sunrise. This brainwashing technique combined with the genuine CEO smile unconsciously made her heart skip a beat. And so, the Duchess received encouragement. She feels happier now than ever before. Knowing what she has to do now, she tugged on his sleeve. So she asked if she could practice instead of just learning the theory. Is there anything I can do right now? That shining determination made his eyes widen. Seeing her so proactive, he had to rack his brains for something she could do. Go pick some fruit to eat. Of course, she's a girl, so he couldn't bear to let her climb the tree. He has to carry her up. After picking fruits, we went to pick mushrooms, but the mushrooms she harvested looked kinda sus, not gonna lie. After hunting and gathering, the two of them went to steal radishes from someone's garden. She fell flat on her butt while pulling them out. He had to rush to catch her, But hey, at least the radish was dug up. Since it was her first big win, he picked her up and showed her off to the world. The Duchess was laughing like she never had before. Her happy smile made him unconsciously curve the corners of his lips too. That night, her harvest was turned into a limited edition pizza that made everyone in the division drool. Frances ate and kept praising her. So this is the sweet potato you guys dug up? Amazing. Why did you dig up sweet potatoes? Some clueless dude piped up. Fulida was picking apart every ingredient on the pizza. These potatoes are bitter and taste like they're going bad, and the meat is almost spoiled. He was actually still salty about what happened the other day, so he took this chance to roast her a bit. His words unconsciously made her wilt for a few seconds. Frances thought this guy was being a jerk and was about to step in, that punk. This had gone too far, she needed to get to the bottom of it. She got up close to him, making him put up his defenses. What are you doing? Is it really that hard to eat? She asked, adding her signature sparkling eyes as a finishing move. Because of those eyes, he couldn't say anything back, huh? She added even more sparkle to her emerald green eyes. Is it really that hard to eat? This trick was too hard for any man to resist, even him. Not thinking it was convincing enough, she added a star filter to her eyes to increase the damage. Too many stars, and he was kinda suffocating. Giving into this move, Fulida had to admit, it's not like it's completely useless. Everyone falls for a beauty's eyes sooner or later. Right after he said that, the entire camp lit up in the middle of the mountains. That bright light came from Yvette. It was like an angel descending with a halo behind her. This time, he was genuinely scared of her. Don't come here. Arthur and the commander weren't part of the fun and were just observing. Is this something to be happy about? The introverted Arthur didn't say anything but still looked at her with amusement. Everyone in the division has accepted her like family. I don't dislike you at all. Leeds saw her glowing too much and reminded her, if you glow like that, you'll attract wild animals. Bright and early, the Lion Legion greeted the sunrise with laughter. Victor and Arthur had been up all night studying the terrain, so they hadn't caught a wink of sleep. Morning, what's all the racket? Hart saw the commander come out and, holding a teapot, asked, Commander's awake. Want me to make some more tea? Forget the grub for a sec, what the heck is that crowd doing all bunched up? He ignored Hart's offer. Nah, I'm good, but what's going on over there? You talking about them? Yvette over there was sampling some steak someone had made. She had the honor of being a judge for the food contest. She barely took a bite of the meat before her face scrunched up. Gross. Awful. The Legion members, instead of being put off by her pickiness, brought even more dishes. Next, try mine. She sat there, till her butt was numb, just to try everyone's cooking. Initially, she just wanted to make a little snack for Duke. After all, she was tired from digging up sweet potatoes yesterday. Everyone in the Legion acknowledged her efforts for not wasting food like at first. Even Hart was shocked that a simple cooking session turned into a contest without anyone noticing. Like, how did that happen? Any leftovers, we'll polish off together. Absolutely no waste. Sounds good in theory, but once you taste it, you realize whose cooking skills are tragically awful. Arthur seriously thought this was pointless. Even if we stuff ourselves during the day, who cares? Easy for him to say, but when Frances invites him for a drink, he's all in. Cocoa fruit wine? Seriously? Count me in. This guy flips faster than a pancake. Yvette got curious when she heard about this strange fruit for the first time. Cocoa fruit? Frances patiently explained it to her. It's like a wine-flavored juice, but it doesn't get you drunk. Perfect for morning drinking. Victor saw them being all happy over there and for some reason, he glared at them. Memories of the past resurfaced. A kid pushing another one away. The first time Frances met him, he wasn't the friendly guy he is now. Don't play dumb. Spill it. How many people do you want us to kill? The Legion's mage wasn't all that friendly when they first met either. I know you don't mean harm, but sorry. Arthur, on the other hand, was super impressed with him. He's way more trustworthy than I thought. Leeds was also the easygoing type. If we make it back alive this time, then I'll admit you're our boss. They had been through so many ups and downs before they dared to confirm their strong relationship, trusting each other as they do now. He thought back to his rebellious youth and felt like he wasted his own effort, taking 3 years just to fit in the group. And here's Yvette now, instantly surrounded by people asking after her. Here, let me fill your cup. The sparkling glasses filled with wine were raised high. She's a newbie who arrived only yesterday and she's already outshone him. blending in so quickly with everyone. Everyone clinked their glasses in congratulations. Seeing such injustice made his heart turn ice cold. She noticed someone's lonely figure sulking alone in a corner. Being a woman herself, Frances could understand what she wanted. Oh, you want to go down there? As soon as she was lowered, she landed right where that long brooding guy was. He turned to look at the girl tugging on his sleeve. Yvette held up a piece of broccoli, gesturing for him to join her. Eat together. The aura radiating from her was seriously no joke, enough to make his eyes widen in surprise. Touched by her kindness, he accepted the floret of broccoli. Yvette. But free stuff always comes with a price. Her suddenly giving him this must be a bad omen. Gotta inspect it carefully. After looking it over, he realized she only gave him pig food, nothing but celery, broccoli and carrots. Seeing how bland the meal was, he immediately demanded an itemized bill. Where's the meat? Just look at that shifty face. He knew she was skimming off the top. He dragged her to a corner to deal with her, ignoring everyone's stares. Get over here, you. All right, I'll watch you eat. You intentionally gave me vegetables, so let's see if you have the guts to do that to your leader. He forced her to gobble up all the veggies without wasting a single piece. Hurry up, no being picky. The gossipy duo, Arthur and Frances, felt this was exactly what they wanted to see. Time for a show. Seems like Zack was right. The troop's mage didn't want to pay attention to this. The only thing he cared about was work. One meal of his is gonna cost me half a novel collection. How accurate. I have a bad feeling about this. Hart, the worrywart, voiced his concerns. Everyone, look, our group has taken in a duchess, but the people back at the camp might not accept it. Hearing this, everyone suddenly remembered. The realization came a little late. Arthur frowned, thinking about the problem. TCH. The shadow of that powerful woman emerged. At the very least, Cassandra definitely wouldn't let it slide. The look in her eyes reeked of envy and jealousy. The Lion Legion continued its journey. The Duchess was peacefully sleeping in the carriage. Gotta say, nobles' carriages really are different. The design looks luxurious no matter how you look at it. It might look good on the outside, but on the inside it's pretty unstable. Which newbie driver is driving the carriage to make it bounce up and down like a CapCut edit? Things falling over is one thing, but even she can't escape this disaster. Painful or not, she still needs to sleep. Arthur and Victor were leading the troop through this winding mountain range. Just as expected, it'll take us 2 days to get through. We're not familiar with this terrain, so don't let your guard down. Suddenly, he noticed an unusually large boulder on the nearby hill. It felt like there was someone behind that rock. Sensing something was off, he focused intently. Hey. A member of the troop heard a strange sound and asked his comrade, did you guys hear something? It's an ambush. Just as he said that, the large boulder rolled down where everyone was standing. Even though the outside world was screaming and getting ready to fight, Yvette was still sleeping soundly, totally carefree. But it was too noisy, so she had to reluctantly open her eyes and face the sunlight. Noisy. Before she could even brush her teeth or wash her face, she was dragged outside along with her luggage. Luckily, Victor managed to save her from being crushed by a rock just in time. But the big rock broke apart, and a bunch of smaller rocks came flying straight at them. He used his whole body to protect her, not even caring how dangerous it was for himself. She looked up at him with a worried expression. Seeing how dangerous the situation was, Frances ran over and asked, are you okay? He's not even worried about himself, and he's still prioritizing protecting her. Knowing that it would be dangerous for both of them if she stayed there, he handed her over to his teammate, Frances. Take care of her for me. The team leader had given the order, so there was no arguing. Yes, sir. Everything he did seemed normal, but she knew it was super dangerous. If the team leader had been a second slower. Hopefully, she won't be scared to tears. After walking for ages, she finally reached a safer place to take refuge. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. As soon as she arrived, some bull-headed, horse-faced dude jumped down in front of them. He pulled out his weapon and tried to kill them. Die. Not that easy, buddy. She immediately used what she'd learned and smashed him to death with her suitcase. Even Frances was shocked by how quickly she learned and adapted. When did this place turn into a battlefield? People were dropping like flies. Victor was still busy dueling with those small fries to avoid trouble. But what he was really paying attention to were those huge-ass boulders up there. He immediately told his closest confidant to deal with the source of the conflict. Arthur. Yes, sir. The sword stuck in the rock served as a platform for climbing. He climbed nimbly from one spot to another. Watching him climb was like seeing a real-life Spider-Man. The gangsters playing with rocks up above saw the ace arrive and immediately ordered, "Throw them down." So, he got to enjoy that boulder all by himself. His reputation as the Lionheart team leader wasn't just for show. Those rocks were just gnats to him. One guy, clueless about what was happening, just stood there spouting nonsense. "They're coming up." The figure got closer and closer. His eyes widened to welcome the arrival of death. With a single, light stroke of the sword, his head was gone. After finishing up, he struck an ultra-cool samurai pose. He turned around and instructed his close aide, "Arthur, leave one alive." Useless. He sensed that these cowardly guys had already committed suicide ages ago. Mission failed, so they all offed themselves. Trained assassins, no wonder they died so quickly. He glanced elsewhere, wanting to change the subject. "I bet the situation downstairs is the same." The two bros were busy bickering when suddenly a voice echoed from below, "Hey." Francis picked her up and waved, calling them over. The two girls high-fived each other, showing off their achievements. "We knocked someone out." Sounds super impressive, right? What does this even mean? Four pairs of eyes stared at each other in astonishment. "So, there's still information to gather," Arthur said with a fake, exaggerated surprised look for fun. "Now that we've got the big boss, we gotta splash some water on him to wake him up and squeeze out some info." He got a face full of cold water and immediately made an extremely unpleasant face. Standing before him was Victor, the war god of the entire group. Meeting him meant only one thing, no return. He didn't say anything, just shoved the stick into his mouth. "I won't ask who sent you. Of course, that's not the main issue. You can go back and report. Since you came all this way, I'll ask you a favor. But related to this, I want you to deliver a message." Facing the palace, a flustered man ran in to report to the prince, "Your Highness, the person you sent to scout the Lionheart troop is back." The guy sitting firmly on the throne calmly heard the news. They didn't take the Duke's daughter's life. Only one person returned. Was released to deliver a message. What did he say? As soon as he heard that, he immediately knew the situation. The words of the Lionheart troop leader echo, "We don't participate in royal affairs, nor do we intend to become pawns for anyone. If anyone touches our comrades, the price to pay will be very steep." He affirmed the troops' unity. The Lionheart troop is always ready to fight. As soon as the words ended, some crazy dudes suddenly laughed loudly and clapped and stuff. The blue-eyed prince knew that, sure enough, even using some coercive tactics. This prince really had strategic talent, he should recruit them for his use. Looks bright on the outside, but inside is ambition. His eyes barely cracked open, and he saw the blurry figure of some girl calling his name, Lynn. Seeing that he wouldn't wake up no matter how much she called and that he was even cursing, she immediately took out the family heirloom, planning to send him to see his ancestors early cause he was being too noisy. "Come on, if you don't open your eyes and look at the world now, you might not get another chance." Cassandra slammed the 1,000-ton hammer right where he was lying, forcing him to react immediately, or his name would definitely be etched on a tombstone. "Wake up already." Experience in dodging attacks on the battlefield is never a waste, and it saved his butt this time. He landed on the table after pulling off a super slick dodge, all thanks to Cassandra. Feeling bummed about not getting to sleep, he complained, "Can't I slack off a little?" Of course not. In the Legion, there must be Legion discipline. The commander assigned me to manage you guys. Managing is one thing, but always being on the defensive is what's important. You're a scout. What if someone launches a surprise attack? No arguments there. Unable to argue with her anymore, he caved. Fine, I'll do it, alright? He called her by the title Future Legion Commander's wife. She perked up immediately, being complimented. You know what's good. Setting aside the compliment, she worried that the Lion Legion would return and no one would welcome them. What if the commander comes back and no one's there to greet him? He took the binoculars and observed from afar, reporting the news to her. They're here, I'm telling you. Not trusting this guy's words, she snatched the binoculars and observed for herself, checking it out herself. In the distance, a few people could be vaguely seen approaching. Gradually, the crowd of people grew larger and larger. Seeing this scene, she was filled with many emotions. He stood behind her, and chuckled when he saw she was silent. The eyes of a young girl in love shone brightly like the morning sun. Suddenly, Bells nearby began to ring repeatedly. Everyone excitedly gathered in the courtyard to welcome the commander's return. Everyone was chattering lively. Cassandra, on the other hand, ran like a person who had gone crazy with excitement. She didn't even bother apologizing when she bumped into people. Cassandra, what's going on? The girl who got bumped into was dumbfounded when she saw her strange behavior like that. The guy on the upper floor shouted down to the girl, what else could it be? The girl in the green clothes hurried towards the returning crowd. Her eyes, now even brighter than car headlights, looked up at the person she had been longing for. Victor and the heroic group marched into the city. The commander had returned, and he was still holding Yvette tightly. She opened her eyes to see what was going on. He pressed her head down and reminded her, we're almost there, just bear with it a little longer. But this was her first time traveling so far, so she looked around like a kid, looking everywhere with great excitement. Upon arriving, he gently helped her off the horse. As soon as she set foot on the ground, everyone swarmed around him, Commander. He asked about how things were back home and got the reply, Cassandra's been riding us like a banshee, no time to even breathe. Hearing everyone complain like that, he decided to check up on her. Oh, really? Seeing her crush looking, she immediately put on her innocent, weak act. Nailed it. After the greetings, he turned to announce the new member to everyone. Right, there was someone mentioned in the letter before. He was about to introduce her to the whole wide world, but she just used magic and vanished. Where'd she go? Meanwhile, on the other side, she was all hooded up, skipping around, exploring every nook and cranny of the place. She was running and jumping happily across the prairie. Finally, she stopped to watch a dog doing its business. Just when she was getting into it, she got yanked back. He scooped her up to his side and gave her a playful scolding, don't run around like that. You've seen dogs before, right? He was just asking, but she said she hadn't, totally surprising him. Huh? Cassandra asked Francis about the identity of the new miss. That's a duchess's daughter who wants to stay here. Why is she dressed like that? She gave the newcomer a scornful glance. Is that some kind of royal fashion trend? Francis knew trouble was brewing, so he dodged. It's a long story. There was a bit of an incident on the way, which led to her getting targeted. She's pretty high profile, so just her showing up here is enough to cause a stir. She was curious about what was so attention-grabbing about this miss. High profile, huh? Yvette took off her hood. A beautiful face was revealed, almost making everything around her disappear with her attractiveness. Good afternoon. This flawless visual was enough to make the guys' hearts drop and the girls question their sexuality because of her. She bowed according to royal etiquette. Yvette Winchester greets you. I apologize for any trouble I've caused these past few days. Even her bow was gorgeous. Everyone was greeting a beauty for the first time, so everyone was shy to say hello. A young man bravely stepped forward to get acquainted with her, using his smooth pickup line. Well, we've been here for a few years. If you need anything, you can ask anytime. She returned the gesture with a smile that could topple empires. Thank you for your help. I hope to be in your care in the future. The young man's teenage heart had completely surrendered. Arthur whispered to Hart, I forgot she was so pretty. Someone who hasn't even seen a dog is used to being pampered. Victor was a little down because she just came in and immediately became everyone's goddess. He ruffled her hair, reminding her how to act. Everyone here is our people now. No need to hold back in front of them. Other people, you slowly get to know, he just casually reminded her, but everyone else was already simping hard for her. He introduced an important pillar to her. Let me introduce you to Cassandra Kavanagh, she's in charge of logistics. Two big minds met instantly. Cassandra looked at Yvette with a conceited attitude, not taking her seriously. She'll be taking care of you from now on. She was still staring blankly at the powerful person in front of her. A table filled with various fried and stir-fried dishes welcomed Miss Yvette. Everyone happily took their seats at the table. It had been so long since Hart had touched these dishes. Finally, he could eat normally again. The eldest sister, who was in charge of the cooking, kept bringing out more dishes to treat everyone. There were quite a few dishes. Yvette looked at the food right in front of her with longing. But she quickly regained her noble demeanor. Marlene Howard brought the food and welcomed her with a special dish she had painstakingly prepared. My little sister is visiting for the first time, so I prepared a special dish. Ooh, here it comes. The eldest sister's welcome dish for newbies. I wonder what kind of stuff this sister is planning to feed her, that both Francis and Arthur are making tense faces. Even Yvette can't escape. Suddenly, Everyone remembered their first welcome meal. Grilled fish eyes, honey-glazed sea eel skin. Just hearing the names makes everyone want to meet Sister Wei so badly. It was really a terrible experience back then. Back to the main event, here's little sister's portion. The lid opens as if containing all the culinary essences of the world combined. The eldest sister lectured for a while about the origin of the dish. We have to thank the fisherman for giving us octopus tentacles. This kind is very rare, you know. It was jumping around 15 minutes ago. Yvette secretly prayed to her ancestors to help her through this as she looked at the dish as black as the bottom of a pot. The more the sister talked, the more Yvette's nerves twitched. How fresh and alive it is. Cooked in its own ink, not a single drop can be wasted. This is my most satisfying masterpiece. She forced Yvette to eat a piece of octopus no matter what. Come on, try a bite. Looking at her face, it was like seeing a boogeyman from Legends. Lin and Arthur sensed the opportune moment with telepathy. He tiptoed up behind her, planning to play a prank. He yelled boo, and she immediately ate the octopus. The monster was in her mouth and she struggled frantically to spit it out. But food can't be wasted, so she had to chew it to see what it tasted like. Suddenly, she felt that the food wasn't as bad as she thought. Knowing that she was eating delicacies, a bright smile bloomed on her face. Marlene knew how good her skills were, so she asked her again, is it good? The Duchess's small mouth moved but couldn't form words. After a while, she managed to praise one word, delicious. All the effort the group put into getting her to eat was rewarded. For a picky eater to praise it as delicious, it must be a delicacy, right? So the whole group swarmed in, demanding to try some. Let me try. No, it's made for our little sister. Eldest sister is biased. The crowd was in chaos, but Victor could only smile wryly to smooth things over. The meal ended with a clean bowl like a commercial, delicious to the last drop. Eating and drinking aside, now is the time to discuss important matters. After the expedition team returns, the daily work must be reorganized. She continued eating and drinking, ignoring everything else. Francis sat beside her, watching with envy. The new schedule starts in the afternoon. But she ate a little too much and started choking, forcing Victor to interrupt his speech. Those who haven't been called maintain their original status, no changes. Don't play with the food over there. He divided the work equally among the members. Lin Zetching, Roseanne, are in charge of reconnaissance work, 6-hour shifts. The purple-haired girl enthusiastically accepted the task. Roger. But that Lin guy was yawning non-stop. Arthur and Senya, you guys are on East Base security. You're good, but pink-hair Senya's kinda eager. She'll straight up kill anyone who slows her down. Hart and Leeds are stuck training, so they're out. Plus, training burns a ton of energy, gotta feed 'em extra. As for Marlene, she's head chef, so she's swamped already. Marlene handles 3 meals a day, it's crazy work, needs an assistant. Suddenly he glanced somewhere else, so. His gaze landed squarely on that little duchess over there, Yvette. She was totally lost as to why he was calling her out. Francis, worried about the delicate flower, jumped in. Hold up, Captain. She leaned in, trying to talk him out of it. She's nobility after all. Making her go hunting was already pushing it. Why make her do manual labor? But rules are rules, the Lionheart Brigade's short on hands. Strength isn't just about muscles, he said, walking and spouting wisdom like a self-help guru. He rattled off a whole list of soldierly qualities: stamina, patience, communication skills, logistical planning, medicinal herb identification, social connections. Victor just flat out declared it for the sake of less questions. All those skills will become a part of you, down to your bones. He framed it as an experience, which made her a little intrigued. Yvette smiled, finally someone was laying it on the line with her. She threw her hands up. All right, give me the job. Great, you're on kitchen duty, he said. Could you take this to the kitchen for me? Marlene was stoked to get a helper. Be careful on the way. She was practically skipping, looked super cheerful, not tired at all. Suddenly someone blocked her path. Hold on a sec. Cassandra was about to pull that old newbie hazing trick. Oh, if it isn't the Duchess, remember who I am. Cadra, a name she probably made up just to piss her off. It's Cassandra. Can't be losing it as the brigade's manager, she thought. Stay cool, Cassandra, don't let her get to you. She's only happy for now. If she likes working so much, then I'll give her the dirtiest, hardest job possible, she thought. Limited intelligence and unlimited tactics. Good thing Yvette has no clue what's going on in her head. An evil grin spread across her face. She commanded Yvette, put the ingredients down. I have a different job for you. She asserted her authority in the brigade, in the Lionheart Brigade. I decide all logistics, you do what I say. Enough talk, she's making her clean the goat pen to humiliate her for fun. The words clean the goat pen hit her like a truck. But no one expected the Duchess's willpower. She repeated clean the goat pen 3 times like it was the most important thing ever. Even Cassandra didn't see this coming. What's up with this woman, seriously? Yvette's slaving away, but she's still got that sunshine smile plastered on her face. Folks nearby see her trying so hard and throw her a few encouraging words. Oh, Yvette's on the job? Keep it up. But the second her back's turned, they're already gossiping about her personal life. She's been looking prettier lately. No wonder the boss is so fond of her. Yeah, I noticed. Cassandra, who's been eavesdropping, jumps out to cut them off. She can't stand the thought of someone being better than her. The more she thinks about it, the more bitter she gets, but she's still too chicken to make a move, so she's just venting behind a tree. Her smile's getting more and more twisted, and her evil plans are starting to surface. Smile all you want. Just wait till my plan comes to fruition. You won't be smiling then. The scary vibe she's giving off makes those two back off real quick. She's been planning to protect her territory for ages. Step 1. Make her do stuff she has no clue how to do. Next up, wait till she's in the middle of something and then sabotage it, pinning the blame on her. Yup, the wicked always seem to prosper. But she's not stopping there. She's gotta let Victor know just how clumsy she is. Step 3. Let the squad leader find out that the Duke's daughter isn't pulling her weight, and he'll flip out. And then, she can righteously kick her to the curb. We can't afford to keep you around here. Please leave. Nope. Sounds great, right? Cassandra's so proud of her 1 terabyte brainpower, using it all to come up with dirty tricks to screw people over. A flawless plan, really. Thing is, with her dorky look, her vision's already locked onto Yvette. Who knows, she might not even need to lift a finger. She might get swarmed by wolves already. Yvette's gazing up at the sky, totally oblivious to the fact that she's about to faceplant. Her tiny feet just keep falling according to the Earth's attraction. That sound must have been music to her ears. Now that the earthquake's over, she peeks her eyes open to check out the situation. Seeing how utterly hopeless she looks is just frustrating. She's even more useless than she imagined. Now she's all freaked out. This wasn't part of her plan. Huh? What's going on? She's only been in there for less than a minute? Am I dreaming? Diamond cuts diamond, but the show's not over yet, so let's just fast forward through the details, whatever. At least now she's aware of herself. What she does is, after causing trouble, she takes a hay nearby to hide the scene. Nope, didn't happen. She ran into a tough opponent, so she's backing off right away. I messed up. I thought she was just a delicate flower in a greenhouse. Cassandra realizes, but in reality, Girl's got a face thicker than a brick. You'd think she'd be scared of Yvette's innocent charm, but nah, she's acting all worn out. Just thinking about all the stuff Yvette wrecked, she's diving into depression. At this rate, the Lion Squad's gonna go bankrupt before she leaves. Not about to spend a fortune replacing everything, she starts cleaning up right away, even though Yvette's happily folding blankets. From enemies to BFFs in 0 seconds flat. Seriously, the second Yvette stumbles, Cassandra's right there to catch her. And to top it off, she's hauling buckets of water from the attic. Being a low-paid manager is way too rough. Suddenly, Yvette's eyes dart to something else. She's eyeing that pile of straw on the floor. Something feels sus about it. Hallucination alert. Not sure if it's real or not, but it's definitely moving. Crawling out from the bottom of society, she whines to the heavens, this stinks. Scene change to a beautiful sunny sky. Everyone's working hard in the lush green fields. Francis is plowing and spots someone he knows. Hi Yvette, how's work going? She gives a thumbs up, signaling everything's perfect, and Francis is impressed. Whoa. You can do that? I totally underestimated you. This progress needs to be written in the history books. Arthur and Lynn see the reunion and run over to see what's up. What's going on? She immediately shows off Yvette's achievement. Our Yvette's first time working was a great success. Lynn praises her for being awesome, which makes her wonder what that means. Awesome? It's how we say it in our country, it means awesome. Explaining like she needs explaining, he immediately gets a chop on the head from the guy, don't teach her weird stuff. He sees her letting the goats graze and is surprised. Didn't Lao Da tell you to help Bajia? Why are you herding goats here? She spills the beans. Someone told me to do it. Who? Cassandra's name is too hard to remember, so she made up the name Cadella. Such an interesting noodle. She can't remember anything at all. He doesn't even need her to say who it is. He already knows what happened. Oh, I know what's up. He sees through it all with one glance. Cassandra, still clueless she's about to get busted, is over there kicking chairs and tables. This is basically just causing chaos. You tell people to cause chaos, and she goes and causes even more. Yvette's eyes, full of disdain and a total idgaf attitude, were staring at something seriously nasty. Then out of nowhere, the black-faced sheep shoots her a look that screams bring it on. Like this is their battle arena. 3, 2, 1. Fight. Cue the battle cry, and she's chasing after that sheep faster than you can say Roadrunner. Old age hit Cassandra hard. She's hobbling around with a cane, taking baby steps. Suddenly, she sees Yvette skipping around all happy-go-lucky with the sheep from earlier. She curses under her breath, useless good for nothing. Instantly, arthritis kicks in, and she has to ditch the palace scheming and flop onto the grass. Phew. She's rolling around, clutching her head, and whining, I'm so effing tired. This is like 100 times worse than doing it myself. After a whole lot of rolling, she finally chills out and just stares at the scenery. Her mind's totally blank now. All this scheming and now she's just lying here like a beached whale. She remembers all those cozy moments between her crush and that little missy. What am I even doing? The image of him hugging Yvette gets clearer and clearer. Blinders on, she just wants to lie here and soak up this rare moment of peace. Before she can even enjoy a single minute, the sheep shoves its butt right in her face. Stinky. Yvette picks up the sheep. Oopsie. Cassandra screams like she's about to meet a ghost. What are you doing? She stutters, totally freaked out. According to the magic dude, it's an unconscious action. Cut to a rooftop. It'd look all peaceful and stuff if it weren't for some dudes screaming. Cassandra likes the captain. Francis and she didn't expect that at all. Arthur and Lynn are like, why are you so surprised? It's obvious to everyone. Why are you so shocked? Anyone with eyes could see that. Being the innocent type who only thinks about power, she had no clue about Cassandra's feelings for the captain. I just thought she knew why the boss was so strong. Arthur's just facepalming at this point. Only you would think that. Getting back to the main point, he knew right away why Yvette was getting bullied. Cassandra loses her mind whenever anything involves the captain. She's probably pissed he's paying so much attention to her. No one even told her to do it. She just wants to bully her so she'll scram. Yeah, you said your piece. No need to point your finger in my face like that. Then he gives her some advice. Don't play with fire. I'm telling you, don't mess with her. Think about yourself first. You know messing with a lovesick psycho never ends well. Lynn, seeing he's getting all worked up, teases, someone's getting angry. No, I'm not. Francis, afraid she's getting freaked out, tries to reassure her. Haha, don't mind him. We'll clear up the misunderstanding later. Now her head's just filled with memories of that chick. In her mind, she sees herself playing blind man's bluff with the sheep. Cassandra's appearance totally distracted her. Seeing her all alone, she feels a little pang of guilt. With her motto of no one gets left behind, she runs over to chat her up and get to know her. But it looks like her kindness was totally misunderstood. So, she wants to go ask her directly. She somehow knew what I was thinking before I even said it, so I just nodded. Okay, being this straightforward kinda freaked her out too, huh? Scary, she's so scary. Why though? Time to confront her and get to the bottom of this. She just froze up when I said I wanted to do that kind of thing. She didn't even have the guts to say it straight when I asked. Yvette, still wanting to know what's up, kept pushing. Why? Clenching her teeth in anger, she finally answered, of course it's because I hate you, she blurted out, just to get it off her chest. Her bluntness kinda surprised me. Of course, there's a reason for my hatred. He brings a woman back after all these years liking him, fusses over her, acts all intimate. What kind of mood do you think I'm in? It was an insult to her feelings for him. Living with him? No way. She totally despises the idea, like, obviously. She's known him longer than I have. She was the one who saved him from that massacre back then. She reached her hand out. Their bond was forged in that desperate situation, duh. This is a love built over years, so she won't accept her crush being stolen. I'm the one who's known him the longest, okay? Yvette wavered a bit, seeing how strongly she felt. She hugged the sheep tighter. What did I do wrong? You still don't know what you've done? Ha, too much. Cassandra immediately pointed out everything she disliked, like sitting astride on the horse, which is a big no-no. Even if the carriage is broken, that's no excuse for her the first time. It's all because of jealousy, jealousy, jealousy. She's even jealous that the young lady has someone helping her off the horse. Doesn't she know how to get off a horse? Where should her hands go? Absolutely touching me. And then he ended up carrying her down. Her tiny eyes must be going crazy, when he clearly just lifted her down. In a love-struck fool's eyes, that's what love looks like, an action only lovers would do. Liar, tramp, shameless. All sorts of insults just kept pouring down on me. She finally stopped, probably because she was tired of yelling. Realizing she might have been too harsh, she kinda apologized. If I said anything wrong, I'm sorry. But still, if you don't like the captain, don't hang around him. She actually dared to say it after that warning. She smiled brightly and dropped a bomb. I like Victor. She really has no idea how damaging that statement is. Her words finally crossed Cassandra's line of tolerance. Cassandra's blood rushed to her head when she heard Yvette say I like Victor. Is she declaring war on me or what? But then she drops this bomb that makes me question everything. She also likes Bars and Darwin. Turns out she kinda has a soft spot for everyone. Leeds and Author protected me when I messed up. Fat Lee Duck and Hart shared their food with me, even if it was a bit of a challenge to eat, but for her, it was a super sweet gesture. Can't forget the others, Senya, Roshana, Lynn too. She even remembers the head chef. Lady Marlene's food is so good, seriously what can't she do? Whatever she can't do, forget about it. It's none of my business. Everyone's different but Yvette still loves them all. I like everyone here. Of course, can't forget the main character, she likes Cassandra too. That confession just cleansed her soul. Scared she might have said something wrong, she double-checks, is that not okay? Seeing how sincere she is, Cassandra's speechless. Just when things are getting all touchy-feely, a shout cuts through the air. Yvette. Your goats are loose again. Francis is desperately hugging the goats. Get back here. They're eating the crops. Before chasing after those naughty goats, she turns back to ask what Cassandra was about to say. What were you saying? Not wanting to admit her feelings, Cassandra blurts out. Nothing. Just scram, you idiot. As Yvette walks away, she lets out a massive sigh, like she's carrying the weight of the world. She plops down on the grass, moaning. Talking to her is more exhausting than cleaning. Just then, haughty Author strolls up. Feeling wronged? Looks like I caught you slacking off. Since he's here, she takes the chance to vent. You're so loud. And I haven't even gotten around to settling scores with you yet. He turns into a university professor to expose her plan, Cassandra's territorial protection plan. Step 1. Before he can get into the details, she cuts him off with shut up. Getting to the main point, he advises her not to be so bossy, just give it up. Hearing that her plan won't work surprises her. He knows the young Duchess too well. Yvette is truly noble, spoiled, doesn't know hardship, but I've never seen her cry. Someone like that is having a hard time fitting into a new life, and even if she's a bit clueless, she's trying to fit into a world she's never known. To make his point even clearer, he knocks her on the head to wake her up. Bullying a kid will get you struck by lightning. Ouch. Seeing that he has a point, her eyes soften. Not wanting him to see her embarrassed face, she turns away, tossing him an offhand I know that already, even without you saying it. He smiles, seeing that he's turned a wild tiger into a house cat. Turning back is not enough. What's needed is a sincere apology. Then go apologize to her, huh? Why the heck would I do that? You totally knew about all the crap she pulled, and those broken things? You just pinned it on her, didn't ya? Caught red-handed and suddenly speechless. She's a duchess's daughter, but surprisingly doesn't act all high and mighty. She's starting to feel guilty AF, enough is enough. No way she'd be quiet. You just love poking fun at her being unladylike. This jealousy is turning her savage. How's the captain gonna like her if she's like this? Her fist is about to make out with your cheek, dude. Boom. A Saitama-level punch straight to Arthur's pretty face. No need to explain the aftermath, you got punched right in front of Yvette. You went flying, making a super scenic parabola. Talk about a dramatic exit. Blood spraying from your nose like rain, sending you straight to paradise. She's too busy cuddling her goat to even notice what's going on. Some dude's sprinting up behind her, panting like crazy. He's gonna snitch to all the gossipy peeps. Yo, training's over already? Cassandra and Arthur are fighting again. Seriously? Gotta go see this hot drama. Victor's standing there with his arms crossed, looking like a total boss, observing the situation. Anyway, since training's done, he barks out, dismissed. On some random, peaceful day, everyone's gathered around, chatting and laughing. They're watching Cassandra beat the crap out of Arthur, not letting him even try to get up. And he's supposed to understand what? Understand what? Forget the chaos for a sec, and now we're looking at a crate of fresh fish. Some guy asks Leeds about the fish. Are we just gonna eat these raw? Footsteps approaching. Victor notices she's there, looking kinda surprised. But then he takes off his jacket with a total CEO smile. He gently drapes it over her pink dress and leaves in silence. Smooth, dude. What a hard-working Duchess's daughter. She's sleeping soundly with her goat beside her, looking like Sleeping Beauty in a flower garden. She's got a super content look on her face, like she's having the sweetest dream, but who cares? Over in Cassandra's bedroom, even while she's asleep, she keeps seeing Yvette's face in her head. Seeing her rival sneaking into her dreams, she's wide awake in a flash, like a chattering magpie. Even the black-faced goat gets the honor of appearing in her head. The window of the little house was lit up in the quiet night, followed by the announcement of the two's punishment results. Victor stood in the middle of the house, publicly listing the sins to avoid any hard feelings, while logistics team member Cassandra took the liberty to change positions. He shot her a warning glare that almost suffocated her. Salary deduction this month and 20 hours of mandatory community service, understood? Yes. The consequence of this led to some members exhibiting symptoms of fighting over the bathroom, and this incident resulted in the raw material members having diarrhea before they could be processed. 5 people for the time being. Okay, that's the manager's sins, now onto the new recruit, Yvette. He looked over to see she'd already dozed off, lost in dreamland. Feeling kind of insulted, he dramatically upped the ante and increased the interaction on her head with a loving reminder, don't pretend to be asleep. Cutting her some slack since it's her first offense, I'll let it slide. After being violent, he turned around and left her with a throbbing head. Letting it slide doesn't mean he'll let her run wild with his leniency. Next time she leaves her post without permission, she should know what the consequences will be. So, that's the summary of her crimes. Time to rest now, understood? Yes. Yvette sat huddled in a corner after getting scolded. Just then, Marlene brought over a basket of mangosteens. Take these mangosteens back to your room and eat them. Seeing that she was too quiet, Big Sis also stopped by to see what was going on. Big Sis knew that this young lady had finally gotten into the swing of things, completely under control. The meal continued amidst everyone's lively conversation. After eating, they went to practice, saying, I want to practice with real guns recently, my hands feel pretty good. Senya sat on the railing, talking to Roshana, then I'll join you. Meanwhile, Yvette was still happily eating away. The 3 strong women left, not forgetting to remind her, all right Yvette, we're heading out first, if you need anything just call us. Hearing that, she was relieved and sat down to eat. There's a training area in front, we can still hear you even if you shout from inside the room. Getting a free basket of mangosteens, she quickly hugged it and went to eat alone, humming happily, room, bath, bath. She walked into the bathroom, which was quite luxurious, but for her, it was too small. Unfortunately, the bathtub was as empty as a student's wallet at the end of the month, no water. Suddenly remembering Senya's reminder, if you need anything just call us. She opened the door and looked out, seeing everyone training so hard even though it was already late. Francis was teaching Roshana how to swing a staff, use your shoulders, understood? Yes. Senya, on the other hand, was practicing her voice. A blonde girl in the group saw her peeking out. Thought something was up so I asked, Yvette, what's wrong? Her hand gripped the door frame tight. She was determined to handle things herself, doing her own damn work. So, she went solo on hauling water. Even though it was kinda heavy, she pushed through. Each bucket she pulled, she poured into the big tank next to her. Then she went back for another full one. She lugged that bucket from one end of the path to the other. She finally had to put it down when she was completely beat. Being a delicate young lady, she wasn't strong enough, so just one bucket left her totally breathless. She stared at her little hands, now covered in scratches. Even though they didn't look so pretty anymore, she really cherished them because they were proof of her effort. While she was playing with her hands, she suddenly heard someone call, "Yvette." Victor, fresh out of the shower, emerged like a god, and his shirt was unbuttoned halfway down, showing off his ripped chest. "What are you doing here?" She spoke while backing away, staring at him with a "get thee behind me" look. "Getting water." His glistening chest just kept grabbing her attention. "Wet." Turns out, what she was doing was kinda pointless. "There's a river over there. Most of us go there to wash up after training." She was super excited to hear about swimming in the river for the first time. She immediately wanted to check out the beach IRL, but he stopped her. She couldn't go. Public swimming like that is a bit too much. It's all dudes over there. If she wants to swim, she should go back to her room. His grip on her hand was too tight, and she felt a bit of pain. He seemed to notice something was off. He picked up her hand to see what was going on. A handful of scratches, some even bleeding. He felt bad for her hands being like that and glared at her questioningly. "What's this about? Who's chit-chatting by the well in the dead of night? What's up with that?" Yvette just sat there frozen, while the other person calmly asked what happened. "Spill the tea." It took her forever to finally say, "I." Her feet just started moving on their own. So, they both ended up face-planting, and the bucket went flying, giving her an unexpected shower. She played it cool so he wouldn't worry, like, "I'm totally fine." Yeah, totally. She might be fine, but he definitely wasn't. Getting a whole bucket of water dumped on her head? Not fine at all. Since she was soaked, she got the VIP treatment of wearing a warm padded jacket. She looked like she was enjoying it more than royalty. He carefully applied ointment to her scratched-up hands to help them heal faster. The touch stung a bit, and she unconsciously winced. Seeing that, he worried and comforted her. "Just bear with it." And so, the two of them fell silent in an atmosphere that was a bit ambiguous but full of affection. Realizing his concern, she finally explained why her hands were like that. "I just wanted to bathe, but the bucket was too heavy, and it cut me." After spilling her guts, she looked up to see his expression. "Don't be mad," she said, but he probably wasn't mad, just feeling super sorry for her tiny, delicate hands. In the middle of this romantic moment, he asks the most random thing, "Am I something?" Still not getting it, she straight up says, "Fierce." That word just hit him where it hurts, lol. The bandages and antiseptic on the table were just chilling, listening to their convo. "I don't get why you didn't ask the servants. You usually wouldn't do this yourself at home, would you?" Living on the streets for too long made him out of touch with the bougie life. The Duke's bathroom has running water no matter what, really. She switched from talking about her family to talking about herself. "When I was hungry, someone would prepare a midnight snack. I didn't have to lift a finger. When I was sleepy, someone would make my bed. That life was so extravagant." She closed her eyes, remembering what she used to have. She took those things for granted, like it was her right. Her home was always full of servants. Only after leaving did she look back and feel regret. But she had to smile and accept this new life anyway. A bright smile bloomed on her face. "So, does that count as progress?" He was actually surprised to see someone injured but still able to say something so optimistic. A sigh, as if releasing all the hidden thoughts in her heart. He flicked her forehead hard as a warning. Bonk. Getting hurt even though someone's offering help? He lectured her, thinking it's a big improvement to stubbornly refuse help. Seriously? He immediately woke her up to a harsh reality. If they're attacked tomorrow, will she even be able to hold a sword with those hands? To become a warrior, you gotta learn to avoid unnecessary injuries, and admitting you can't do it all isn't shameful. First life lesson handed down right here. He clearly assigned tasks within her capabilities, too. "I will assign tasks that you can handle. If something's beyond your reach, you can find me." You can tell he's a real man just by that. Then he turned and gave her a look full of love. "Tomorrow's training. I won't go easy on you just because you're injured." Seeing his serious face, she immediately shut up. She suddenly remembered Marlene's comment about him. "Don't let his looks fool you. He actually knows how to take care of people." This description doesn't seem accurate at all. But he had been so good to her, she couldn't help but smile. Her feet ran quickly towards him. The two of them, a guy and a girl, chatted as they walked. "After dinner, Miss Marlene gave me a basket of mangosteens. And then? Peel them for me." Wait, what did he just hear? Wasn't she just talking about things she could do? "My hands. Here, see for yourself." Your hands are injured. Look at you, so good at taking advantage of people's sympathy. Her big, round eyes, like 1,000 stars were stuck in them, looked at him. This is impossible. Impossible or not, it's happening. Looking at her hands like that, he couldn't bear to refuse. That night, in the small house in the prairie, a young man sat peeling mangosteens before the eyes of a clueless goat. What am I even doing? Bright and early, everyone in the Great Lion Troop has to get their exercise in, boosting their health and keeping the formation tight. No dropping out. While bossing everyone around to run 1-2, 1-2, his attention suddenly shifted to someone else, Senya. Spotting right away that she was sneaking extra energy potions, Victor made her run twice as much as everyone else, and added 2 hours of running drills. Talk about harsh. Arthur was updating Francis on the jogging situation, and Senya was last place again. Typical, dudes thinking too much about it. Suddenly, he noticed something was off, the last person there. Totally predictable, it was Yvette bringing up the rear, and she was literally running while holding up her dress. Arthur couldn't understand her exercise tie. What's up with that? Doesn't she have any proper workout clothes? No wonder she only finished 1 lap while everyone else has done 5. Francis was helpless in the face of this situation. Nope. I even offered to lend her some gear, but all my combat stuff is armor, she can't run in that. The important thing is that even the commander wasn't letting her off easy. Even so, the big boss didn't say she could skip today's training. Terrifying. He could only stand there with his arms crossed, watching her run. The Duchess's body wasn't as healthy as regular people, so before she'd even finished a lap, she was seeing stars. Seeing her about to collapse, he went over and helped her steady herself. Even though she was exhausted, he wouldn't let her stop. Did she want to give up? Her face was as green as a banana leaf, but she stubbornly shook her head. She was determined to give it her all and run. Seeing her fierce courage, he yelled out an order. If you haven't run 10 more laps than her by noon, no lunch. This guy really knows how to squeeze the most out of his underlings. Is he even human? After finishing the run, she was completely out of breath and collapsed onto the grass. Ran till she was dead, and someone's still poking her cheek to ruin her moment. The guys in the squad crowded around, looking at her with judgmental eyes. Looks like she's exhausted, so weak, not bad for her first time sticking with it like that, though. Roshana even took the chance to throw shade at the pink-haired girl next to her. At least she's got more willpower than someone, if the shoe fits. What did you say? Francis ran over and helped her up while she was still dazed. All right, Yvette, lying on the cold ground will give you a cold. She, on the other hand, was still in paradise and could only mutter, I succeeded. The 3 words I succeeded kept repeating like an affirmation. Arthur and Lynn just stood there watching, stone-faced. But seeing her looking so ridiculous, they couldn't help but chuckle to themselves. Senya immediately started lecturing her. Don't get too cocky and forget your image. You basically walked the last part. Maybe you haven't noticed that someone is coming. Victor ran over and shooed away the gossipy bunch. What are you all doing, hanging around here? He walked up to her and, without any hesitation, ordered, Yvette, this afternoon I need to go to town to buy some food. You're coming with me. Everyone thought he was being totally unreasonable and tried to talk him out of it. Boss, are you sure? Usually Big Sis does the shopping. You're tired from training all day, you don't need to do this. But this isn't his job. He wanted to help Big Sis. She is busy today, so I'll go instead. Is there a problem? Then he turned around and got them each where it hurts. Or are you saying any of you can finish the training faster than me every day? One sentence was enough to make all 3 of them shrink back. She noticed everyone was scared of him going out, so she got curious. Like, why is everyone so afraid of Victor going to town? Yeah, no. Before I spill the tea, gotta make a disclaimer. I respect the commander, okay? Everything I'm about to say is out of concern, not to trash him, got it? Even with Yvette's reassurance, she still felt awkward saying it. It's just that his face is kinda terrifying. Cut to the bustling town market. Okay, come here, just take a peek across the street. A fruit vendor's getting ready to greet a customer. Oh my, welcome. Before he could even offer a sample, Victor's scary mug and grumpy vibes scared him silly. 2 bags of spices. The poor vendor ran off without a second thought for his stall. Geez. Even when he went to buy oil, he terrified some kids. She was so embarrassed she just covered her face with a scarf. She placed her hand on his shoulder. She was trying so hard not to laugh. Thankfully he said she didn't need to hide it. Go ahead and laugh, try it. Truth is, he's secretly wounded inside. Suddenly he remembered how she looked in her hunting outfit with that bright smile. He tried to copy that smile, but the more he tried, the more sinister it looked. She poked his forehead hard. Then kept rubbing to smooth it out. Don't furrow your brows. Her hands rubbed his face until he snapped out of it. There, that's better. The beauty's smile reappeared again. Looking at that breathtaking smile, he suddenly felt his heart skip a beat. His bad reputation had spread to a lot of other vendors. No one wanted him near them at all. Don't come near me. Because it was so quiet, the vendor couldn't resist looking up. He noticed the young man in front of him didn't look so scary anymore, but the smile was still a bit forced, but it was acceptable, I guess. Fine, I'll let it slide. 13 coins total. She was secretly happy seeing him fit in so quickly. He turned back to show off his accomplishment of reintegrating into society to her. Yvette was busy admiring the clothes in the shop. Suddenly, he glanced at her, giving her a bold idea. She rummaged through her suitcase and pulled out a pile of stuff, leaving him confused. But the stuff she pulled out was wild, like a super cute, baby pink dress and everything. A whole crowd bunched up like an army, making everyone passing by super curious. That silver-haired kiddo wandering around saw the fuss and got nosy too. What's going on? It's crazy crowded today. He led his buddy gang to go check it out. Ed, easy does it. We're good. After finding a high spot to peek, his teammates shouted for him to pull them up. Pull me up, dude. What's the rush? He was about to haul his friend up when suddenly, a cascade of platinum blonde hair swept past his wide eyes. Witnessing the eighth wonder of the world, he froze for a sec, totally spacing while his buddies yelling his lungs out. Ed, what do you see? Pull me up. Kids' hearts are so easy to read. Looking at his face, you just know he is crushing hard. So pretty. Yvette took off her hood, revealing a goddess-like face with light practically radiating from her. Standing next to Victor, she completely stole his thunder. Everyone standing there started buzzing about their relationship. What's their deal? Never seen them before. Kinda scary, but gorgeous. Victor still hadn't noticed the major attraction standing right next to him, so he just thought everyone was acting kinda weird today. Feels like everyone's on edge. Is it just me? He turned to remind her about the time. Let's buy our stuff and hurry back. We need to order the ingredients. Okay. Everywhere they went, people were lining up for a glimpse of the beauty. Gotta buy 3 bags of carrots, 10 pounds of noodles, and 5 pounds of beef. As soon as he turned to check things out, they'd snap back to normal, not a twitch out of place. I think we just passed the beef shop. Even the wives and girls ditched their chores just to stock the hottie. This sign says you can find the owner to have things delivered. But those fakey actions were like showing off in front of a pro, he caught on quick. Did something happen just now? She knew, but shook her head, keeping her happy feelings all to herself. Shopping was boring, so they popped into a little clothing store to see what's hot this year. Let's go check out the clothes. She tried on an outfit, then drew back the curtain and stepped out. How's it look? Well, a beauty could make a burlap sack look good. Even though it was a total fashion disaster, he thought it was kinda trendy. Looks just like what people are wearing on the street, must be popular. The shop owner standing nearby was horrified by his taste. Victor was gonna buy it, but everyone freaked out. What are you laughing at? How can you let such a beautiful girl dress like that? That's just cruel. So, they decided to take over the whole store for the day. That one, and that one with the bright colors. Hey shop owner, drag out all those dresses from the bottom of your trunk. Consider yourself blessed by a god of fortune today. After the clothes, they hit up the salon for her hair. A braid would look amazing. I'll do it myself. She turned her head, and bam. A total knockout. Wow, so beautiful, if only she was my daughter. After her makeover, everyone ganged up to diss his fashion sense. And this guy was about to make her wear that old lady dress. Look at him, doesn't he look just like her? He got so roasted that he started feeling insecure. He wanted to clap back so bad but couldn't get a word out. Meanwhile, this dude's already waving the white flag 'cause of the rumors flying around. Sorry, the words just slipped out, shocking everyone. They also breathed a sigh of relief that he didn't throw any punches or anything. Seeing that he's not as scary as he looks, everyone's relieved, saying he's actually easy to talk to. Can't judge a book by its cover, huh? He's the kinda guy you want to steer clear of, for real. Back to the main event, Yvette's being snatched up by the locals to be their fashion guru. All right. Sit down first, then pick slowly. The girls are swarming her, begging for beauty secrets. You thirsty? Want a mandarin? What do you use to condition your hair? Even the girls are ready to go lesbian for her. She's so gorgeous. If she weren't some royal from the capital, why would she even be here? What's your relationship? Some joker with a death wish asks. She's caught off guard when someone actually asks that. His image, standing out amongst the other guys, pops into her view. He looks super focused on the book he's holding. What's their relationship? Teacher and student? Protector? Besties? None of the above. Is this some kind of riddle? Little Ed overhears the juicy gossip, thinking, is it kidnapping, maybe? A barrage of horrific scenarios floods his brain. Don't talk nonsense, that's messed up. Judging by her face, she's not gonna help someone who's being mistreated. Oops. Wrong news story. His jaws clench. Full of heroic blood, youthful impulsiveness made him steps out to talk to Victor. Hey, you scary-looking dude over there. I want to declare war on you. I wonder how much courage did he muster up to blurt out that sentence, winner takes all. He's silent, seeing a little kid daring to point a sword at his face. Then he stands up, still keeping his mouth shut. Unable to stand his coldness, he yells, if I win, I want you to set this woman free. Making her also confused about what's happening, free. He brazenly grabs her hand and reads out some cheesy pickup lines. I will definitely save you from this demon, even if it means sacrificing my life. Not persuasive enough for the beauty, he pulls out some tear-jerking lines to move her heart. If I can live. Can I ask you on a date? This kid's got game, surprising her and Victor that a kid dares to say something like that. The vendor was fuming mad seeing that little rascal making trouble. Hey, Ed, that's super impolite. But instead of being intimidated, the kid just stuck his tongue out and teased him. I'm not a deserter. They're totally playing hide and seek with me. What nonsense are you spouting? Afraid of affecting Yvette's mood, the girl immediately bowed her head and apologized. Sorry, he's usually not like this. Please don't mind him, he's just a kid. Suddenly, the girl brought up the boy's personal life. I can't believe his sister is out causing trouble like that. Yvette was curious. What happened to him and his sister? The girl didn't hide anything and told her everything. Their parents passed away early, so Ed and his sister, Manal, depend on each other. You could say she raised him. The two siblings lived peaceful days like that. But fate didn't leave them alone. About half a month ago, Manal got a wound on her stomach. The weird thing is, the wound just won't heal. His sister's dealing with something so awful, but Ed's still out here happily playing and running around. And this kid's got the nerve to be thinking about weird stuff like that. Hearing about the pitiful situation of a child who's still so young filled her with compassion. Knowing what she was thinking, he proactively opened his mouth. Excuse me, we want to go somewhere. Could you please lead the way? A small house nestled among the trees. The girl led him and her to where they wanted to go. Manal, you're awake? The girl sitting on the hospital bed coughed continuously. Two people from the Lionheart squad want to meet you. To avoid misunderstandings, the girl explained everything clearly to her, like this, like that. Who knows what she heard, but the blood was practically rushing to her brain. Just then, Ed came back with a grin on his face, completely unaware of what was about to happen. Ed, the way she said his name sounded like a death sentence was about to be delivered. Manal, out of nowhere, used armament hockey to punch him so hard he flew up to see his ancestors. You have a death wish. And then she went full muda, punching him non-stop. Ed couldn't even defend himself, and Yvette couldn't stop her either. If I don't watch you for a day, you go and cause trouble. Are you trying to kill me by giving me a moment of peace? The girl next to her was scared by this terrifying power. Time is limited, I never use my full strength when I hit someone. Manal apologized on behalf of her brother. Sorry, please pretend this never happened. Adults are talking, and you just have to butt in. I don't want to. I'm already an adult, why can't you trust me? This is totally the kind of line that only kids who want to show off would say. Of course, she didn't believe this passionate declaration at all. Then you should do something a bit more adult. Please, everyone's afraid of their older sister. I'm begging you, I'm already having a hard time, can't you just stop for a bit? Before she finished speaking, he threw a fit and ran away. You haven't even said anything to me. No way. Luckily, Yvette managed to stop him in time. She explained it to him, as if she was remembering her own past experiences. Your thoughts and worries. You don't tell each other when you're together. Waiting until you're separated will be very sad, just like I was that time. She looked at him with such a sad gaze. Everyone was saying that the sister's time was running out. Kids' thoughts are so easy to read, right? Challenging the strong to show off your power. You want to use this to tell her not to worry, huh? It's gonna be okay. The rainbow always comes after the rain, you know. She used her warm hand to wipe away a boy's tears. What you're worried about definitely won't happen. Just then, Manal felt a sharp pain in her stomach. Ouch. Her hand emitted a warm light, like sunshine gently touching the wound. Will it hurt? She wanted to know what that felt like, but suddenly it didn't hurt anymore after the young lady touched her. Even though exhausted, Manal still managed to smile. She called her brother over to say her final words, Ed. Her eyes closed as if entering an eternal sleep. Next, your sis is gonna take a long nap. His face was now pale as a ghost. The image of his angelic sister embracing him was like a dream that would never come true. Even if I don't wake up, in my dreams I'll still see you grow up, so don't worry, I'll always be with you. The conversation ended with a peaceful passing. This really messed with the kid's head, sis. He couldn't accept the shock of losing his beloved sister and went completely bonkers. Out of nowhere, his sister rose from the grave, shocking the two guys. Hold up. Ed and Victor were scared stiff by this phenomenon. It really doesn't hurt anymore. Screams echoed throughout the house. He stuttered so badly he couldn't finish a sentence. Zombie. She immediately shot down his thoughts. I'm not dead yet. Seeing his sister come back from the dead and still acting so annoying, he got pissed. If you're not dead, then don't scare people, okay? I didn't mean to, she replied. Ignoring the reunion, Manal unwrapped the bandage on her stomach to check the wound. When the young lady touched me, I didn't feel any pain. I thought it was the feeling before death. But what happened next completely astonished her. Her wound was gone. Victor really couldn't believe it. Yvette, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this miracle. She stood blankly behind him, waiting for him to ask, what did I even do? A small, injured sparrow was huddled on the ground. Little Yvette and her maid found it back then. They looked at it, feeling sorry for a life about to be lost, so pitiful. Her tiny hands carefully lifted the bird, as if planning something. She used her powers to heal it. Luckily, it woke up and flew away. Be more careful next time. This astonished the maid. The Duchess has a secret. If this gets out, it won't be good. So the maid immediately called for someone. Someone, the Duchess. Back to reality, the wound on his stomach had healed without leaving a scar, completely gone. Knowing she'd be sticking around for a while, Manal called her good-for-nothing little brother over. Ed, get over here for a sec. This time, it wasn't heaven that would strike him, but her. He didn't understand why his sister was still so violent after waking up. What are you doing, sis? Yvette, being so kind, used her powers again to heal the swollen lump on his forehead. After discovering this new side of her, Victor touched his forehead. A healing ability? The most important ability in combat. He knew that spreading this news would be like throwing himself to the wolves. If the Imperial City finds out about this, it could lead to a disaster. Seeing him so deep in thought, she gently lifted her skirt and sat next to him. He realized he needed to ask something, so he took the opportunity. Duke Winchester told you to hide your abilities. Aren't you afraid of causing trouble by not doing so? She didn't think that far ahead. She just looked up and chilled. Because you'll protect me. She believed he would always be there for her in those moments. That angelic smile appeared again. Isn't that right? Facing a smile that should be preserved in a museum, even a hero would fall before such beauty. Victor unconsciously smiled indulgently at her innocent radiance. No, you're right. Cut to a party scene. A crowd of people surrounded. Please stay, brother. If you don't participate in this festival, it won't mean anything anymore. He resolutely said, no is no. Thank you for your kindness, but we have a mission. Then he turned and left immediately to avoid seeing their pleading eyes. As soldiers, we mustn't indulge in pleasure and forget our duty. I hope you can forgive us. Ah, I see. Only Yvette was excited about this festival, but over there. She was happily eating a cotton candy. He had just made a grand declaration not to participate, but seeing her like that, he couldn't resist giving her a whack. Why do you look like you want to join in? She just hands him this family secret manual out of nowhere, leaving him totally blank for a few seconds. Like, what? She wants me to read this thing. A strong person isn't just about brute strength. This writing sounds kinda familiar, no? Stamina, patience, communication skills, social connections. It'll all become a part of you. She's straight up throwing his own words back at him. Savage. She even copied his signature line perfectly. This is definitely part of the experience, lol. He's regretting that time he ran his mouth to her. Now he wants to